Кира, спасибо большое, что присоединилась к нам. Спасибо, что нашла время. Расскажи, где ты сейчас и чем ты сейчас занимаешься?
Спасибо вам, что пригласили, во-первых. Сейчас нахожусь в Санкт-Петербурге, играю за СКА «Аврору». Сезон только начался, поэтому особо много информации не будет сегодня.
Ну, мы следили за выступлением юниорской сборной. Вы в январе-феврале играли чемпионат мира в Болгарии. Там всех выиграли, заняли первое место, заработали повышение в классе. И затем уже в конце августа объявляют о том, что ты переходишь в Санкт-Петербург. Это хорошее выступление на уровне чемпионата мира позволило российскому клубу обратить на тебя внимание? Или как вообще весь процесс там, переговоров и интереса проходил для тебя?
Вообще все началось, работа есть работа. Как бы я весь сезон все равно пыталась себя показать. Сначала пыталась связаться я, пробиться дальше. А, не получилось сначала приехать, это было где-то в июне месяце. И потом в июле мне позвонил уже тренер сам и сказал, чтобы я приехала, просмотрелась, и он уже скажет, что когда дальше. И в конечном итоге меня забрали, поэтому я сразу переехала, в принципе.
Ты единственная казахстанка сейчас в системе женской команды?
Нет, есть еще одна, которая тоже играет.
Как ее зовут?
Тая Гусева.
Как вообще происходит? То есть ты играла чемпионат страны, ты играла за команду Барс, которая, в общем-то, не является топ-командой там на уровне Тамирис или на уровне Айсулу. У тебя было очень много работы, много бросков, особенно в матчах вот с большими командами. А, То есть за тобой как-то следили, или ты сама отсылала видео? Как вообще происходило вот это знакомство со СКА?
Ну, я в самом начале играла за Барс, потом я играла за Жулдыс. И именно в Жулдыс у меня больше всего работы было. Вообще, я не отсылала ничего. Тренер сказал просто приезжай, покажи себя. Тебя вратарские тренера тоже посмотрят. И в конечном итоге скажут, что как. Я 12 дней была в Санкт-Петербурге, вот, и потом мне уже сказали.
А, Кира, это нормальная история тренироваться с парнями или это какой-то осознанный выбор?
Ну, мне кажется, это нормальная ситуация. То есть не я одна, которая тренируется с мальчиками, играет за мальчиков. Ну вот, и на самом деле это очень хороший опыт, который в конечном итоге дает о себе знать.
Сейчас, извини, Жень, сейчас хоккей переживает такой подъем в Казахстане, в хорошем смысле переживает, и много детей тоже начинают заниматься хоккеем, и это, естественно, больше, наверное, такой мальчиковый спорт, но я как счастливый обладатель тоже дочки, вот что бы ты сказала родителям, у которых дочки хотят заниматься хоккеем, вот, потому что многие же пугаются и говорят, что это не женский спорт, что бы ты им сказала?
Что бы я сказала? Наверное, чтобы они прислушивались к желаниям ребенка. И все-таки, не попробуешь, не узнаешь. Пусть попробует. И, если понравится, почему нет?
Как вообще, расскажи, как вообще система СКА устроена? То есть ты приехала, ты живешь в квартире, ты живешь в пансионате, как там с питанием, как с инфраструктурой, как, я не знаю, ведь ты вообще получаешь зарплату, или ты за деньги там, или ты за еду играешь, то есть как вообще там жизнь налажена?
За похвалу.
За похвалу, да. За лайки в соцсетях.
В целом очень неплохо. Я приехала, сейчас живу в квартире, питание есть, как бы форма есть, все есть, то есть все, что нужно. По контракту я детскому играю, как положено, потому что мне еще нету 17, поэтому зарплаты у меня нету. Но все, что нужно для того, чтобы играть, все есть.
То есть это такой этап, когда ты просто доказываешь для того, чтобы потом уже получить денежный контракт. Сейчас у тебя контракт как бы безденежный, просто содержание, еда, тренировки и так далее.
Да, да, именно. Ну, цели у нас большие, поэтому я надеюсь, все получится.
Мы тоже надеемся, верим. И последний вопрос. Я знаю, что в системе СКА из молодых, вот из Барыса уезжал Никита Шамки, он из Астаны. Общаешься ли ты с ним? Потому что у него сестра тоже была вратарем. Может быть, ты и с ней общаешься. Она раньше была вратарем. Вот. И с кем, ну и вообще, как много казахстанцев сейчас в системе СКА, в молодежных детских командах?
Общаюсь и с Никитой, общаюсь и с своей сестрой. Большой привет, сразу передам. Вот. В системе СКА есть еще мальчик 2009 года рождения, Тёма Валетов, он тоже с Казахстана. Вот, Тая Гусева, вот, Никита Шамки. Ну, это тех, кого я знаю. Может быть, есть еще кто-то, кто приехал раньше, но это я сказать не могу уже.
Спасибо большое, Кира, что присоединилась к нам.
Спасибо.
Вам спасибо большое.
Все, мы обязательно тебе скинем ссылку. На связи. Пока.
Пока.
Давайте.
Okay, so our next guest is Winger. He is from Winnipeg, Canada. Junior world champion, played in NHL, AHL, KHL, and DEL. In KHL, he played for Barys, Automobilist, and Akbars. 6-time KHL All-Stars, 608 games, 550 points, including 293 goals. All-time scoring leader for Barys and best import players in the history of the league. Guys, just welcome Nigel Doss.
Round of applause. So you have announced your retirement this year, and after such a great career, as just John mentioned, how does it feel right now? I bet your family happy.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. You know, it hasn't summer didn't really change too much. I just didn't really go to the gym as much and wasn't training, just kind of enjoyed myself. Got to play a lot of golf and spend time with the family and friends. And now that you know, it's winter again, I started going back to the gym and just being a fan of hockey and not I haven't really been on the ice at all. I go on the ice a little bit to help with my son's hockey team, but just watching hockey, enjoying it, and you know, enjoying being home full time.
What is your plans for upcoming weeks or maybe months?
I don't really have any plans right now. It's kind of taking a year to kind of sort things out and see where things go. In a couple weeks, I'm going to start helping a few times a week with like a hockey camp during the day with some different hockey schools, and maybe see how that goes. But just relax and
Finally, right?
yeah, be able to be around for my son and his activities. He's playing soccer and hockey, so it will be busy, and we'll see maybe come you know, January, February, something's happening, but I don't want to rush into anything, and we'll see what happens over the next few months.
We saw your photo with Bochenski playing golf, and our fans are ripping us apart, like, get us Douse, get us Bochenski. Can you help us to bring Bochenski on pod?
I can try. It was nice to see him. I hadn't seen him for a few, probably 4 or 5 years. So, you know, he lives about 2.5 hours away from me. So we went down to, I had some friends in town, and we went down to visit him and play a round of golf. So it was a lot of fun to see him and to catch up and see how well he's doing in his second career as mayor of Grand Forks. So lots of cool stories. And I also got to golf with Dustin this summer. I don't think we took a picture though, so we were too busy talking.
We talked with
Yeah,
Dustin a month ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of
yeah,
reminiscence.
great.
Farah mentioned the fans who's probably obviously demanding you and Bocha and other guys. What's the best ever present that maybe you got from fans in a stand, maybe during career in Barys or maybe after you left the club?
Well, I think the biggest thing was just the support that we got, and wasn't necessarily just getting a present or something like that, but there was a lot of different pictures that I got from fans, from kids. Yeah, there were a lot of thoughtful ones that I can't remember really right now, but there was always fans, even if it was super cold outside. They're always waiting after the game to support you and ask for a picture or to give you a picture. Sometimes it might have been a cake or some fresh made foods that they made themselves. So you definitely always felt the love from them. And even when you weren't playing as well as a team or as a player, they always were there to tell you that you had their support.
Yeah, sure. And you guys, I mean, you, Bochenski, Boyd, Kevin, you were like role models for them, and I can tell that I really miss you guys. So before you departed to Germany, if we are looking at the scores, at the statistics in Akbar's table-wise, looks really perfect. Like you have a lot of goals, 23 goals, 20 assists, if I'm not mistaken, and everything looks just fine. And why you didn't kept with KHL? Why you departed to Germany?
It's a lot of different things I think kind of played into it, but I was 36. I've been in Kazakhstan and Russia for 10 years. My son was getting older. COVID was going on. So it was just, I think it was a good time for me to leave. I think when I started playing in the KHL, part of our dream as a family was to always kind of experience playing in Europe. We didn't know if it would be Germany or Switzerland or Sweden or something, but just kind of be able to live in Europe for a few years while playing hockey and experience that lifestyle. So it was a tough finish in Akbar's, losing in Game 7 in overtime to Omsk, and I think it was just time, and sometimes you don't get to make the decisions on your own, and for me at that point it just kind of felt right for me.
Okay, Nigel, please tell us about DL. There's plenty of imports right now. I've counted 4 former Barys centers: Cormier, Vey, Verone, and Kunik. Vey plays for your former team, Mannheim, as well as German legend Marcel Goch, who used to play in NHL and play big. He's right now as a players development coach. So what is special with Germany right now?
Oh, it's a really good league, and I think it's a kind of a North American style of hockey. Everybody speaks English for the most part, which definitely makes it a little bit easier as a group and as players to communicate. There's more. I think you're allowed 9 imports to play, so there's more imports that you can kind of connect with or build that chemistry with, and the travel is really easy. I mean, you're on the bus, but for us, we were home maybe by 1 o'clock, and that would be late. A lot of times we'd be home and in bed by 12 o'clock after a road game. So it definitely makes things a little bit easier, not only on yourself and your body, but on your families and stuff. With when people have young kids and stuff, it's kind of tough to be gone 8-10 days at a time on road trips and not there. So yeah, it's definitely appealing in that regard. It's a good league. It's a really nice place to live. The weather's great, and yeah, it was a great experience.
I don't know if you're keep an eye on Barys, but this year we have the almost the same situation like the year that you were leaving Barys. Old coach sacked, a new coach hired, but it's the same coach that you had adversity with. So is it really about his words that made you leave Barys? I mean, it was a shocker for fans because you was like a demigod for them, and it was like a wave of hate towards the Barys administration when you left. Is it really his words that you're not team player?
Well, it wasn't just that, but I mean, I think there's multiple things that kind of play into it. I mean, it was obviously a frustrating year. We had a really good start, and then we were trying to add a few players and we weren't able to. And the way that we were playing at the start of the year, especially our line, I mean, it wasn't sustainable. Like, you know, our line can't score 3-4 goals a game, even though we were doing that. And it's tough too. Like, I mean, I know you're a team, and you want to be a team. And when people say things like that, I think there's still respect factor. And I don't know, I mean, I don't think you have to listen to the players all the time, but at the same time, you know, I've been playing there for, well, it was my 7th year, and I've devoted myself and played a lot and sacrificed a lot to the team and for the city and the organization. And I was going out and playing, you know, trying my best all the time. And yeah, sometimes it doesn't work as well as you want it to do, but I don't think there was necessarily a respect factor there at that situation. And I mean, I don't know how they're doing now, and I'm sure that he's a good coach too, but I don't think that was necessary, and I definitely don't agree with his words that he said.
And yet you still managed to play for.
I committed to play for the national team. I know there was times, you know, the fans might not understand, or you know, seeing us not come to certain tournaments or whatever, but you know, like, my goal was to try and make the Olympics, you know, with Team Kazakhstan, and unfortunately it didn't work. I mean, we were close one time. Dustin broke his ankle, and you know, that was a huge blow to our first opportunity, and we were able to play in the World Championships. And you know, every time, you know, we'd give up parts of our summer and time away from our family, and but every time I went to play, I was playing, you know, as well as I could and as hard as I could. And it's unfortunate that we didn't get the results that we wanted, but it's a team game, and it's really, really hard to just blame certain, like, 1 or 2 players or 5 players. You know, it sucked. And I mean, as I got older, and with my body and you know, nagging injuries or different situations, you need the time off in the off season. And that's, you know, why I kind of stopped playing in, you know, my last few years, is because I just needed that break from hockey to be able to be prepared for the next season, which you know, you need to be 100% for.
I talk about Akbars and the 7th game. Some people say, like, there's a theory that they say, like, Nigel has this mentality. He wants to win Gagarin's Cup before he retires, at least, and that's why he left to Auto and Akbars afterwards. So how true these words?
Well, I think 100%. I mean, any player that plays, I don't know if you're just playing just to play hockey. I mean, at some point you want to be contending or in the mix. And I mean, I know when we started, we were, you know, making the playoffs and stuff. But if you look back on our teams, I mean, in Astana, we never had a team good enough to make a run to the finals or even close to that. And yeah, we would play our hearts out and we would play very well, but and we'd make playoffs and stuff, but our teams were never strong enough to compete over a 7-game series with, you know, the top teams in the league. And it can get frustrating at times because, you know, you want to be closer and you're giving it as much as you can, and you know, you're still not close. So that's one thing. But I mean, it was, I think, also a time for change. for myself in my career. You know, I never planned on leaving Barys, but the way that season went and just, I mean, they didn't even have contract talks with me. So, you know, it was the first year and only year that I led the league in goals, but, you know, they weren't talking to me about extending a contract or anything like that. And as the season went on, I think, you know, I just wanted to kind of see what else my options might be. And the way things went, you know, things happened, but yeah, I thought it was a very good opportunity to go to Ofto. Obviously, we didn't do as well as we would have hoped in the 2 years I was there, but you know, I wouldn't change my decision. And you know, honestly, financially as well, it was as a better offer. I mean, if anybody has a job and you can get a promotion or a raise in salary, I mean, 95% of people are going to take that. So I thought it was a better opportunity for myself and at that time in my career, and something I needed to take a change on.
During the podcast with Spitting Chicklets, Kevin told us a story about how many times he told Roman Starchenko to go and try him overseas. And have you ever gave advice to some of our Kazakhstan players, like maybe Mikhailis or even Starchenko, to go and try overseas?
I've definitely talked to, like, you know, in the past with Starry, and I was around obviously with Antro and Kevo when they were talking about it. And, you know, I know Roman's still playing and he's still doing well, and it's great to see. And you know, he's always been one of the top Kazakh players, and he's a great hockey player. And I was you know, lucky to play on his line for some times when I was in Barys, and he definitely makes the game easier. And I'm sure he's a great player to look up to for some of the younger Kazakh players now that are on the team or coming up. And you know, with Nikita, he's obviously come a really long way. He was maybe 17, 18 when he was starting with us, and you know, he's done so well for himself. He's become a really good player. I do message him a few times, you know, throughout the years, just if he scores a nice goal or he's doing well, just kind of congratulating him. But you know, he's done very well, and he's a very, very good skilled player. And you know, he's doing well again this year. So it's really good to see these. I mean, I guess they're not kids anymore, but they were kids when I was playing there and coming up. So it's nice to see some other Kazakh players having success in the league. And you know, I know Panikov went to Kazan and then Omsk and stuff. So you know, he's another player who's, you know, had built some success for himself as well. So it's really good to see, and it definitely strengthens you know, Kazakh hockey. And with, you saw last year in the World Championships how well they did. So it's great to see, and I hope that things keep improving and they keep doing better.
Yeah, Starchenko is 14 goals behind you in the Barys all-time scoring list. He has 203. You have 217. Do you wish him to overcome your record?
Yeah, I don't think that's an issue for him. I mean, he's always been a good goal scorer, and you know, I'd be very surprised if he doesn't catch me. So you know, I hope he does. I think it would be great for him to have that record, because he's played, you know, other than 1 year every year for Barys, and he's been you know, a true leader and a true leader for Kazakh hockey. So I wish him all the best, and hopefully he does it soon.
Probably you've seen 2019 20th anniversary of the club. I think you saw Kevin's and Brandon's jerseys under the roof of Barys Arena. Have you ever talked with the club, or maybe someone from the club approached you about your possible ceremony?
No, I haven't heard anything about that. You know, I think you know, I really enjoyed my time there, and if it's something that the club wanted to do, I'd be honored to do something like that. But you know, it's something that the club can decide, or the management. And yeah, it was fun to see those guys' numbers go up, and guys that I played with, and they were instrumental to my hockey and playing in Astana. So yeah, I guess we'll see in the future how things go.
Yeah, we hope.
Yeah.
Kevin, in his pod with Spitting Chicklets, he said that club approached him and offered him a job as a coach, as a development coach. Will you ever consider coming back to Astana as a coach or manager, maybe?
I'm not sure. I think right now it's a little bit too early. I think the toughest thing for me would be, it would have to be something that I don't know if it could be me moving there full time. Like you know, my son's in school, and I think it's he's already lived in 3 different countries, and we need stability for him. So if it was something that happened down the road, it would have to be maybe more of a consultant or something, where maybe I come for 2 or 3 weeks at a time to help out and to coach or help the younger players, or give my opinion, or maybe do it from afar. But it's not something that I've thought of yet. I haven't been approached yet. And for me, I think just coming out of the game last year, I think it's still a little bit too early for me to jump right back into it. So I need to kind of take a step back and just enjoy watching hockey and being a big fan of it, because you know, it's such a fun game to watch. And when you're playing it all the time, I mean, it's not the same when you're sitting back and watching it. It's not as relaxing. Whereas now, you know, you really appreciate all the different plays and all the goals and the saves and the hits and stuff like that. But you're not really, you know, watching it for studying purposes or to try and get you know, different tactics from different teams. So it's a nice feeling to just be able to sit back and watch.
Do you call your friends like after watching the game, like, yo, do this, do that, and
Yeah,
etc.?
no, for the most part, I just kind of I'll say, hey, nice goal, or hey, that was really. I'm not really coaching them, but I'm definitely you know, singing their praises when they make nice plays and they score nice goals or make nice moves. So that's it's always fun to see. And yeah, it's exciting to you know, watch guys that you're friends with and they're still playing, and you want them all to do well, and a lot of them are.
Farah mentioned Kevin and his podcast was Spitting, and Kevin remembered this story with a lamb sacrifice at Zamboni area in Barys, which we had during the losing streak in 2017. I remember Hendrik refused to go with us. I was there as well, standing next to Matt and Lyndon.
Yeah.
They were newcomers, but you already spent some time in Kazakhstan prior to that. So were you shocked as much as they were?
Yeah, we didn't know what was going on. They just kind of told us to come out of the room and come over to the Zamboni area. So I think it was just more of a shock thing, because it wouldn't have been on any of our radars. It was probably the last thing that we thought that was going to happen. So, you know, when you come out and you just kind of see that, you're just like, like, it's just totally unexpected. But you know, all cultures have different things, and you know, it's obviously something that takes part in the Kazakh culture. And fortunately, it didn't work for us right away, but you know, eventually we started winning some games again.
And there were rumors that during this losing streak in 2017, club's president approached you with some of the stick handling advice, how to handle the stick.
Well, I mean, there's a few things that that were brought to me throughout the year that I didn't necessarily agree with, but you know, I think when things are going bad, you know, everybody wants to help and everyone wants to try and help. But you know, I know he's a very good businessman, and he has success in other areas, but you know, hockey wise, I don't know if he was, you know, had the most experience in it, or could come in and say stuff like that. But you know, those things happen, and I'm sure it's not just in Astana. I'm sure it happens in the NHL with people. I mean, you walk down the street, people want to tell you how to do things, but you know, sometimes it's easier if you just kind of, you know, focus on your own things. And especially that year because I was, scoring a lot and I was playing well. So it was just, we weren't winning. So it was tough to come and try and tell me to change my game.
And then next year you joined AFTO. Barys get Brandon, came back. Later we traded Бойдом from Dynamo. Kevin was still playing. We got young core with Dietz, Mikhailis, Sagadev, Akolzin, Maklukov, who joined the club in 2017 as a part of the reconstruction. And this theme came up with Brandon's appearance, like "Make Barys Great Again." Did you look at the team photo maybe and thought probably I should have stayed a little longer to have my friends back?
Well, no, I mean, I still have my friends. I mean, they're it's still a business and it's still a job, and you need to kind of go. Obviously, it's tough, especially when you've been somewhere for so long that you're comfortable there, but sometimes you need to get out of your comfort zone. And for me, I think it was good to kind of get re-challenged, I guess, maybe, where you got to go and now I have to go and prove, why, I'm worth, what my contract is, or why, I can play this way or that way, or try and help a different team. And, we had a really good start to that season as well. And I don't know if I think it was, 12 or 15 games or something without a loss in Ofto. And, it was great. And, you make new friends, you play with new players, but, yeah, I think in the back of my mind, you're watching to see, how Barys is doing. And I think that was one of the toughest games to come back to. It was my first game back in Astana because of how everything ended. And then, people are saying, oh, well, he's too old and he can't do this anymore and that. So it felt really good to play that well in my first game back and beat Astana. And, I think I had 5 points. So I think it was a really good game for me.
People saying that every year about Steph Curry and LeBron James. He's almost 40, but he's still delivering. Yeah, I actually remember that season, and you started with 18 unbeaten match.
18, okay.
18. You won 18 in a row, and then we came up to your city, and we won. And we won the game. And we won the game 2-1. And I have the photo with you and other guys standing, Matt, Brandon, Kevin, Henrik. But we had a goalie, young from Czech Republic, Dominik Grachovina. He was the starter in that game. So yeah, we won the unbeaten team, which had 18 matches, won in a row. And I remember we were leaving the city like we won a cup proudly.
Yeah. So it's your best memory, right, John?
One of the.
I do remember that game too. It's a good game. I think so. I think I would have played Barys first in Ofto and Yekaterinburg, and then I think I played in Astana later in the season. But yeah, no, I remember it was a good game, tight game, but Barys played really well. And that was Skabelka's first year, right?
Yes.
Yeah. He brought a lot of structure.
The Renaissance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and recently, Coach Skabelka said that Olympic qualification game against Poland was his worst memory as a coach. But we are here speaking only about positive memories, right?
Yeah,
trying to do this.
It's the crazy thing about those types of games is it's one game, it's one chance, and if we played that game over 100 times, like our team's gonna win 95, 97 of those games. It's that goal. I can't remember. The shots were like 55-12 or something. We hit post. It's just one of those feelings that you're just like, man, this game's just kind of weird. And then it's just, I've been in multiple games like that before where it's sport. And that's the fun thing about sport is that you never know what could happen or what might happen, and you have to go out and you have to play and if there wasn't any of those, you know, upset moments or, you know, good stories for other countries or teams or what, like sport would be boring. You know, like
Yeah.
if it's super predictable and it's always going to be like that, like that's why. And I mean, unfortunately in that game, we're on the wrong end of it, but you know, there's other games, you know, when we were in the World Championships and we were tied 5-5 with Russia going into the, you know, the end of the game. And when we beat Switzerland in Moscow, and, you know, games like that where, you know, Kazakhstan's not supposed to win or it's not supposed to be in the game. And we're on the opposite side of that. And, you know, all the fans get to feel those moments as well. And last World Championships, they felt a lot of those moments throughout the whole tournament.
With Norway, we won Norway, right, and Slovakia, and nobody expected that.
Too? Like 2 years ago,
Germany.
maybe.
Oh, no, last year, not this year. Last year we beat Finland and we beat Germany in the group stage.
And Finland, like never happened.
Yeah.
I mean, that year they become actually the world champions.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's, you know, you've been on both sides of it, and that's why sport is so exciting. And you know, unfortunately those are painful moments for one team and happy moments for other teams, but it's what keeps things entertaining.
Yeah, I guess every person should just try to keep focus on positive sides. Like if you think about some bad moment over and over, like nothing changes. But if you think about something great and funny, your like spirits go up, and you maybe smile, right? So what was your like the best game as a pro?
I mean, I want to say like would have been my second or third year in Astana when we beat Tractor in the playoffs. Was one of my favorite memories. My time, it was the first time Barys had won a playoff series. You know, we had the new arena. You know, the fans it was full, the atmosphere, the way the series had gone back and forth. So that's, you know, that's something that I'll never forget. And
not a single expert like predicted that Barys will win Tractor that year, as far as I remember. So that's why it kind of this win became like much sweeter.
And
go on.
Tell us about this crazy last minute game with Ufa in 2017 where we scored 3 goals in 40 seconds.
Yeah, that was wild too. Like do we tie it 15 seconds later, like after, like off a weird play, Saintsy scored. And we're like, holy, like we were just down and now we're up. Like we were excited to tie the game, and then now we're, you know, about to win the game.
And as far as I remember, you put the last nail into the coffin. Like the last goal was by you.
Goal, yeah. It was a lot of fun, and I know that with UFO we didn't always have a lot of success, but we always had really good games against them. I remember, I think the first year when Nazarov was coaching, and it was the first game of the season in Astana, and we beat them 5-4, I think it was, and we scored with like less than 5 seconds left in the game to win it. And it was just crazy. It was still at the old arena, and the crowd is going crazy, and it was just like, it was a great start to the season.
Tell us about Nazarov, his coaching. He's a great motivator. How did he motivate you? Because we heard a lot of stories. Maybe some of it you want to share with us.
And he's kind of polarized person. Like you don't hear opinions about him like, nah, yeah, he's all right. You hear like from one side he's the best, he's the great guy, and from the other side, like he's the worst, he's the tyrann, and
I mean, like I think I remember the most was he was the first coach that I had in Russia that spoke English, so I was able to actually like communicate with him and have, you know, conversations, so I could kind of understand more what he was thinking, or what he might understand more what I was thinking, as opposed to, going through translators or other guys on the team, where sometimes things get lost. So it was easy to just go and like talk to him about things. But yeah, he loves to scream and shout, and he's definitely intimidating. But he wants you to go out, and he wants you to play hard and play your best. And if you're having a bad game, he's not afraid to make sure you're having a bad game. And if you're having a good game, he's right there too, and he's that you had a good game. So no, I didn't mind him as a coach. I felt like he was fair. We got to play a lot, and we were in, sometimes when you have a coach like that and you're, one of the main players, I think he might treat you differently than if you're kind of like a younger player on the third or fourth line. You might get yelled and screamed at a little bit more than some of the older guys or the guys who are playing more.
Talking about the coaches, you have probably met Igor Larionov, the Detroit legend. He is now coaching Torpedo in KHL. His Torpedo is very young, very successful, playing excellent hockey. And the main thing for me, the change in the league in terms of attitude, in terms of professionalism, in terms of behavior. What do you follow them? What do you think of it?
No, I don't follow them. Obviously I know Larionov, and he was an amazing player, and I'm sure he's obviously doing great things as a coach. And I think you will start to see that, because I think with Russian hockey in the league, there's a lot of the older coaches, the older style, old school coaches that have been around for a long time. But, even my last few years, like, there was new coaches coming in, and it wasn't always the same training camps and stuff. There were more days off and different types of training, whether it was in the gym or on the ice, and different tactics and strategy on the ice as well. So I think the game it has been changing and will continue to change. And I think, there's so many great Russian players that are now coaching that, like Fedorov and Larionov. Like if you're a kid, even if I was playing for Larionov, I've been like, holy, like this is amazing, like. So he automatically gets the respect of all the players and the coaches and the management and the fans, and he's definitely, he loves puck control, he loves skill, but he still played hard, and you're going to see that with his team. But I'm sure especially if it's a young team, I'm sure they go the whole game. There's no quit. There's just go. And I'm sure it's fun for the fans and the league to watch.
So do you think Ovechkin can beat the record of Gretzky?
Yeah, I think so. I think everybody believes that he's going to make it or break it. He's had a little bit of a slow start, but like, it's just like you need to get a goal. And then I actually was watching the game. He scored his first goal, and he should have had 4 goals, and he didn't. But, sometimes those just don't go in, and then he scores late, and then the next game he scores, and then 2 games later he scores. So it's just a feeling. And even the best goal scorers go into slumps, but I think he'll be just fine. And I know their power play hasn't been that great to start the season. So once they kind of get that going, and they're not obviously a top team right now, but they still have a lot of good players, and good players that can make plays. And I think he'll be just fine.
Do you have any advice for the young players, like in Kazakhstan, in Barys right now? They cannot afford like the great imports, like money wise. So it's a great chance for the young players, and we can see the young players that from Nomad, they are going up and they're doing good. Like we already saw rise of Panikov, of Mikhailis. Now we can see like Logvin, Amirbekov, Khairjan, and etc. A lot of them are coming up, and they're starting scoring goals. And when you start fast, and maybe you get some money, and you're starting to live the crazy life and lifestyle and etc., do you have some advice for the young ones?
Well, if you want to have a short career, you can live like that. But like, just because you have a little bit of success, if you're 21, 23, like you still have a long way to go. And the hardest thing in hockey is consistency, and to be able to consistently play at that high level and have success, whether it's winning hockey games as a goalie or scoring goals, or like you have to put the work in, and just because you have a good week doesn't mean your next week's going to go be good. Like I always would work harder after a good game as opposed to a bad game. Sometimes I punish myself, but just because you have a good game, that's not a reason not to go work out after or come to the rink the next day and not work as hard, because you're usually when you have success is because you're doing all the right things in practice and away from the rink that translate into success during the game. So you should never really kind of sit back and relax on it, because just as easy as it comes. I mean, you could have a couple bad games and then all of a sudden you don't score in 10 games, and you're just like, geez, like how did that happen? Like 10 games ago I just scored 2 goals a game. Like, so I think it's just continuously working hard and not like keeping focus and always trying to improve, because there's always room for improvement, and you always want to strive to be the best player you can be and bring the most to the team.
Especially when you have Roman Starchenko so far in the locker room, that maybe his last year.
Yeah.
Do you think so?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't watched him. I haven't seen him be playing, but I'm assuming he's always been a great skater, and that's the hardest or the easiest thing to lose. So as long as he's skating, I mean, he's going to keep the skills and the smarts, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him play for a few more years.
I mean, one of the last games I saw this statistics that pops up during the game. Like he was probably the oldest one on the ice, and he was the fastest one.
Yeah. So as long as he can keep skating, he'll be playing forever. And he's always been a strong skater, so I can see a lot more years for him.
Okay, Nigel, our time is almost up. The last question: what is your best memory about the Kazakhstan through the years? And maybe you plan to visit Kazakhstan in coming weeks, months.
I was actually talking with my wife like last month. She's like, "Oh, I'd love to go back." Like, I definitely think we'll be back at some point to visit, because I really truly like enjoy my time and love living there. And I don't think there's one necessary or one moment, but I think just the whole experience, the whole 7 years, like I didn't know what to expect when I went there. And I was 26, I think, when I got there. I thought I was a young kid, well, kind of a young kid, and I was there till I was 33, and just the way the city developed, the way the fans, how passionate they are, and how much hockey knowledge they have. I'm really happy with how far the Kazakhstan hockey program has come. And it's not because it is kind of because of Barys and the management and the whole program, but it was always cool to see, like a 6 or 7 year old come up, and then 5 years later they're skating for one of the Barys kids teams, and they're like, oh, like we watched you play, and and it's such a good feeling that you might not realize it at the time, but you're really impacting other kids in hockey. And I mean, even since I've been home, I've ran into some people randomly, and they're like, oh, I watched you 15 years ago. And you just like, as a player, you don't really sit back and think about the impact that you might be making on another person, because that's not why you're playing the game. But it's really cool when it kind of comes back around later on, when you're talking about it or going over your career, and how someone might say, oh, I started playing hockey because I saw you on TV, or I wanted to score a goal like you. And it's come so far as a program, and that's definitely something that maybe down the road that I'd be definitely interested in trying to help out with, because it was great. And to see the growth of not only the hockey but the whole city, and I mean, I haven't seen the whole country obviously, but just how far the city has come, and how much I enjoyed it. And I mean, I would definitely want to come back and enjoy the city again, and maybe more in the summer or early in the season, not the winter. But now I got the too. So
And come down to Almaty, I guess.
Yeah, we got a really nice
yeah.
golf course we got to check out.
Yes,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
High altitude.
Yeah. But no, I think honestly, John, like just the whole, like I wouldn't change anything. And I'm so happy and grateful and lucky in a way that I was able to start my career in Kazakhstan and, you know, spend the majority of my career there, because, you know, I don't think there would have been a better place for me to go. And, you know, I'm really, really thankful that it was such a good time and it lasted for as long as it did.
Okay. Nige, we
Thank
were
you.
happy to have you. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
and
thanks for inviting me.
And I guess I will tell by the name of all fans, thank you for everything that you've done for our team, for our national team, and so many emotions that you gave. It was incredible. Yeah. So we still love you, and if you're coming back, please visit Almaty too. The
Yeah.
golf courses
Just
are
give us a call.
amazing. Yeah, and just give us a call.
Yeah,
Thank you.
definitely will. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Take
See ya.
care. Bye-bye.